Hi traders, in this video we're going to be looking at a new addition to the DTB system. So if you have your membership on the website, and in that section you're going to actually find the OneDrive link that's going to take you to the folder for the new assembly, and it is dated the 17th of February. So might be a good idea to go and import that new assembly first. Just remember to close your workspaces before you import a new assembly, and then go tools and remove the old assembly, and then shut down NinjaTrader, reopen NinjaTrader, and then go tools, import NinjaScript add-on, and then import the new assembly file. Okay, so let's bring up a chart, and we're going to work on the ES in this example. So ES, MES, you can basically work on with this. Okay, so ES futures, and we are going to use a DTB bars 4-4, and we're actually going to start the range of the week, which is the 14th. So we'll go from the 14th of January up until today, which is the 17th. So we can go and load that chart. Okay. So we'll put on the chart trader. Alright, now what we're going to be doing first is we're going to go load in the ultimate bands indicator. So if we go to DTB ultimate bands, you'll have the one on your side. You can make the middle area as transparent and leave the other settings as is. Okay, and then the second thing we're going to go and load on is our other indicator, which is called the shadow trading divergence. And this has a few different settings in, so it's got different colors for the bars based on the levels of price. It's also going to have it's going to show you some dots on the chart. It's going to have your levels for overbought and oversold and your arrows. You can also have sound effects loaded, so if you want to be alerted for the dots on the chart and also for the divergences, you can go and select the alert for the divergences and then choose your sound effect that you have put in yourself, or you can choose one of the standard ones that NinjaTrader has. But we're not going to look at that at this stage. We're just going to load up the default settings for the indicator, and that's what we're going to be looking at. So we're going to it's immediately going to show us the divergences. It's going to show you the current price, obviously, and the different coloring of the bars. So just a quick description on this indicator is when the bars are green, it's basically in buyer's territory. When the bars go gold, it means the price is in seller's territory. And the coloring of these bars is determined by this horizontal line at the bottom of your chart. So at the moment we are plus 2.22, which means the price is in buyer's territory. As soon as this goes to negative, below 0, the bars will turn gold. So this is just a good way to determine who's in control of the price, and it gives you quite a good indication of what price is doing. When you see a purple bar like this, it means that the price is right up here between 8 and 10. So if you go back to the indicator, you're going to see the levels for the shadow trading divergence. It's the above 2 bar brush. So magenta will be above 2, and below 2 bar brush is the cyan. So if you look at the chart, it will be, these are the lines that determine it. So When it goes over this top red line, it's above the second and below the second. So the second line at the bottom is below the second. So that just shows you when price is right in that zone. So over there you can see at this stage we had this purple bar over here, and that's when the price was, you know, the indicator was showing us it was above the level 2, and that's why that bar painted purple, so magenta. So that's basically telling you that there's an imminent change in direction, more than likely coming. And then the bars will just paint. So I always like to go and just change my right side margin. So I'll make it 120 in this example. Okay, and I'm also just going to I'm also going to go into the properties, and I'm going to change the auto scale to off, and that'll just be important for later on in this example of what we're going to be doing with this. So let me just remove this. Okay, so back to the new addition for the tools that we have. So we have the analytical strategy, which we've been working on, but I've put in an analytical strategy beta. So this version will ultimately replace the analytical strategy that is there at the moment. It's just basically a supercharged version of the analytical strategy. And I've put beta because it hasn't got any of the buttons on, it hasn't got any of it hasn't got the time slots on at this very stage. You know, if you're watching this video in a few weeks time, it'll probably have everything included, like the buttons, the time slots, the ATM and all of that. But we're just going to be using this because it's a very basic version of the analytical, and it works extremely quick. So it's got the setting A and the setting B as the analytical does. It does not have the tick delay, which also helps speed up the whole process of optimization, and it also does not have you know, all the other features that the analytical has at this stage. But that's okay, because we're going to be using this for a very specific reason in this video. So I won't enable that right now. What we will do though is we will bring up the strategy analyzer. Okay. Alright, so there's the analyzer there. Now we are working on a 4-4 chart for the ES. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be optimizing the analytical strategy beta. We are going to be optimizing the setting A and the setting B. And we're going to choose, in this example, between 1 and 20, and setting B is going to be between 1 and 58. Now setting B is a time filter for these bars and for the strategy. Okay, so we're just going to optimize the setting A and the setting B. We're going to leave it on trend. We're going to select the instrument, which is, are we working on ES or MES? ES, okay. So we're working on ES, and we are going to be optimizing the DTB bars and the 4 and the 4. We want to start our optimization from the beginning of the week, which is the 14th, and the end date we can just put it to the 20th, so it'll give us optimization up until current price. Okay, so we'll scroll down a little bit. We will remove break at end of day. We will include the commissions, and we've got a 1 spread on the ES, so we're going to do a slippage as 1 on that. We're going to keep the 10 best results, and we're going to optimize on max net profit. Okay, and then we're going to run that. Now the good thing about this optimization is it's very quick. So literally under a minute, it's going to give you the results. And it's okay just to bring up 10 results. You can go and expand that if you want. And you can use different features for the optimize, but max net profit in this example will be ideal for what we want to accomplish. Okay, perfect. So that is the ES for this week from the 14th up until today. So the best result that it's given us is 29 trades, a 2.6 net profit with a 807 drawdown. It's also got another one there which is 2.5 with slightly more trades with a 565 drawdown. So I'm actually going to select that one. So 241 is the setting for A and B. So when you look on the right hand side, it's going to show you the setting A and B, and it's going to give you the best result between those two numbers. So 2 and 41. And we'll look at the chart. So that is what the chart looks like with those trades. So those are all the historical trades from the 14th. So that's when it started, and those are all the plots. So if you look closely at the positions plotted on the chart, it actually includes that slippage which we put into the strategy. So if you don't put a slippage in, it's going to give you much better results, but you're trying to get as close to actual results as possible. So by putting in that slippage, it's actually going to be really beneficial. Alright, so we've got 241 on this chart, on the optimizer. So we're going to go to this chart, and we're going to go to our strategies. We're going to go to the Analytical Strategy Beta, and we're going to put in setting A as 2 and setting B as 41 according to the optimizer, and it was on trend, and we're going to put it on Sim 101 on each tick, and we're going to go immediately submit, synchronize, and we're going to enable that strategy and click OK. Alright, so that's going to show you the plotted positions that the strategy would have taken up until current price, really. So if you look again at the optimizer, those are basically the same positions. If you look there and there, it's just basically drawing the same positions on the chart. And if we go to the performance of it, it should show around about it's showing 3.7. Okay, so that's showing 3.7. So let me just reconfirm our dates that we have on here. 14th of the 7th. Okay, so what do we have wrong over here? Let's see. We didn't put the slippage in. Okay, so that is why it's showing better results than what it is. So I'm just going to disable that again, and I'm actually going to put that slippage in to the strategy and then re-enable that, and you'll notice that the trades are plotting now more accurately on the chart, which is the same as the strategy. Yes, okay, perfect. So if we do this now, we should be able to see the 2.5, which matches basically what the optimizer has given us. So that's great. Okay, so the idea behind this is we want to, at this stage, we want to have a look at this chart, and we want to enter manual positions based on what the positions are giving us from the strategy, and then choose when we want to enter. So this is for those who do not want to rely on a automated strategy. You just want to enter your manual positions and you know, basically replicate the strategy to an extent, but also just choose your positions more accurately. So what I will do is I will just make this a bit smaller like that. I'm going to just take off the chart trader on this one. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate this window. So if you click there, right click and duplicate window. So what you can do with this is you can do what I'm going to be doing is just basically be doing a session or two or a few days of simulation trading on this. So you can choose your account that you want to work off. So I've chosen the sim account 1 on there, and the sim 101 is where the strategy is running. So you've got the strategy running on the sim 101, and then you've got your trading chart that you want to test it out on this. So you'll see that there's a position here and no position there. So whatever account you want to use, select it on this chart. So the idea behind this now is to monitor where the trades are executing. So I'm just activating the chart trader to show me a dollar value on there, and then I'll just disable it again. So according to the strategy, that was the last point that it entered a position. Now the previous two positions before that were actually losing positions. Now what we want to do is, say we are monitoring this strategy, this active strategy on a chart, and we are at the stage where the strategy enters a buy position over there. We might think that, you know, we're right up against the band, the ultimate band, so there's probably going to be resistance there, so we might not enter that position at that stage. We might wait for the price to bounce off the band and sell at that stage. So you might enter this position, perhaps a bar later, and then, you know, sell over there, put your stop, you know, above the band, and then you can target, you know, maybe towards the lower band. So that's an example of how it will be traded. So we're basically watching what positions the strategy is taking, and, you know, again over there we probably wouldn't want to sell right near a band, but when we buy, it will be a good option to, you know, buy towards a band when the bars are green. Okay, so we've got that. So price has moved a bit from there, so we might not enter right this moment. It's now 10:30 my time, which is 7:35 or 7:32 New York, so it's a little bit quieter at this stage. But the idea behind this now is to go and create your own ATM. So you can go over here and you can go create a custom ATM, and we'll just do a simple one for this stage. We'll just choose a 20 stop loss and a 20 profit target, and then we'll save this as 20 stop and 20 target. Okay, and we got it over there. So we can now go manually on our trading chart that we're going to be using, and we can enter positions based on, you know, what we're seeing the strategy actually do, and do that. So we're in the middle of this band at the moment, so we can go and choose to enter a position over here. So the strategy is in a buy position at the moment. It has just gone up a bit, came back down. The bars are still green, so we're still in the plus territory over here. So there's a good chance that this price is going to be going up. We do have a divergence dot over there, which means that there's a potential that price could reverse, which it did just a little bit, and it's gone up again. So that's what we'll basically be looking at. Now historically, if you're watching the strategy and you're seeing a sell signal there by the strategy, and you see the price touching the band and then going up, bouncing off the top band and then going gold bars. So it was in the minus territory up here. Then that could be an option to sell at that stage. So you're still in the same direction as the last signal of the strategy, and then you can run that position down. You can either run it to the band itself, or you can wait for the divergences at the bottom, which paint in real time, and you can choose to exit somewhere around this area. And then same with over here. You've got a buy signal over here. You've got a buy signal up there, but the price is quite high and right near the band, so you might delay your manual entry on that one. There's a sell signal over there that happened in real time. You might think, the bars are still green, so there's a potential that the price is still going to go up, so you might not sell at this stage. You're going to wait until you see a divergence. So these divergences are going to plot in real time, and then when you notice the bars start turning gold, you know that the price is in seller's territory. And then instead of entering where the strategy entered, you might choose somewhere around there after this gold bar closes, which is probably the same entry anyway, but you're just missing this heat going up. So you don't want to be sitting in a position where you could be 17 ticks down, and you're stressing, should I exit this position, or or what's going on. So you're just waiting for the optimal entry. So if the strategy is in a sell, you're waiting for the bars to turn gold, and you can enter in that situation. Same over here. The strategy bought over there, but because the price was up against the band, you might have waited until a better opportunity, and that better opportunity came when the bar started painting green. So the divergence was at the bottom here. There was definitely a bouncing off the band over here. Bar started painting green, and then that could be a small little scalping position, even up to the band itself, which is 9 ticks. And same thing there. We had a sell over there, but price right near the band, so you might want to wait until you get another option like this over here, where it bought and then basically trading up. And if you took this buy position when we activated the strategy, it was right on the signal here. And even if you're just trading to the band itself, so even if you're just trading to the band, there's your you got your 13 ticks, around about $160 odd on that trade. So that is what you can watch out for. You can just monitor the signal given by the strategy, and then look for the best time to enter the position. So play around with that. I think this is a good way to get into understanding the automation and just get a good feeling for it. And then you at least have got control over your entries, because if you had to go and do a buy order with your ATM in place, you can go and move your stops, you can go and move your targets, and if you had entered back over here when we first started, you can move your stop up to basically trail the price if you want, or you can exit when the price is at the band. So normally what happens is when the price is at the band and we round about the 7 to 8 to 9 mark, there's more than likely going to be divergences, and the price is more than likely going to bounce off those bands. So that is what happens a lot of the time. Sometimes, like in this case on the left here, the price will be hitting the band and then it'll still be forced up. So it all depends what the banks and institutions are doing. But the bands definitely provide a good indication that there could be a reversal happening. So that's what you can watch out for. Now, if you were in a position now, you might want to be exiting at this stage and then just waiting for the next signal from the automated strategy. Okay, so unfortunately I didn't take that position because it was exactly when I started the video, but that's just a good indication. We loaded up the strategy, and that's what the strategy took as we loaded it up. That's what the optimization says it was. So even if I run this again, it's going to plot that position that was just entered. So let's just see what that looks like. Okay, it's almost done. All right. So we are on the 241, which was the second one, and that just basically showed those positions. So the same positions that the strategy optimizer gave off, it showed that was the entry, which is exactly where that one entered. If you look on the chart there, even the even the slippage is in place, so it's exactly where it entered on that candle. So that's why it's important to have your slippage in play, because you want to make sure that the trades plotted on your trading chart are matching the optimizer, and the only way to do that is to have your slippage put in both your chart and your optimizer at the same time. So you can constantly run this optimizer. If you can even modify the size bars you're working on. You might go for a 4-2 or a 2-4. Different market conditions, you can go for an 8-8 or a 6-6. So definitely work around with a few of the different bar sizes while you're waiting for the next signal, like we are. And just experiment and see what results you can get coming up. And perhaps you want to adjust your chart, your bar sizes, and work on that. So we'll just bring up this chart again. So I will just disable the strategy for now. Okay, and then close this position. Okay, so with the strategy, you can, or with the bars, you can basically change your bar sizes. So you can even go for let's go for a 412 as an example. And it just basically paints different types of bars on the chart. It's got the 12 reversal with the 4 trend. There's so many different variants that you can work with on a chart. So you can even go a 424. So it all depends on what time of the day you're trading, and what the market is looking like. And then whatever you have on this chart, go and use the same settings in your optimizer. So we've got a 424, so you would change that to a 24 if you're going to run optimization on that. You can even go, so this is what I call a trending baseline. So you've got basically the price trending, and then it breaks down, trending up, breaks down, and all the while it's bouncing off these bands. So really good indications for reversals, waiting for the bar coloring to change, to buy in a direction. Each of these bars is 4 ticks, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 48 up there. So just little reversals. So even this one here, it just bounced off the bar, off the ultimate band, came up, painted a green candle, so could be opportunity to buy just over there. Now obviously you're going to have sometimes straight up and straight down like this. But generally, you know, if you're trading off the bands, you can take those trades coming down, especially if you have a gold candle bouncing off a band. That's a good indication that the price is going to go up, or go down, should I say. If you have a green candle bouncing off a band, you know, that's a great indication that the price is going to be going up. So another chart you can also look at is you can even go to a 24-1 chart, and what that's going to do, it's going to bring up a flat baseline chart. So similar type of thing, you know, you're going to have the price bouncing around off these bands. Might not be the best example of a chart to use. It's not that clear, but it does show your divergences though. So when these divergences happen in real time, they're actually going to plot and they're going to join. So just showing you, you know, times where you can buy as well. So, but to keep it simple at this stage, probably just go for a 4-4 chart like we have been working on, and see that the price has gone up. We've had, you know, this this dot. We haven't got the connected dotted line, which is the divergences. So there hasn't been a divergence painted yet. So this might not be a very strong sell signal at this stage. But it is mindful, if we're in a long position, that we might want to just take our profits at this stage. So that is, you know, that's what's going to help you, you know, just enter your positions. You know, we can go and activate that strategy again, which was a 241. What we'll do in this occasion is we'll go wait until flat synchronize, and what that'll do is it will put the last strategy or the last position plotted there, but it's not going to enter a position until the next signal comes up. So the next signal will obviously be a sell signal, because this is a continuously trading strategy. It doesn't have any stops and targets unless you you know, you put your stops and targets in. So this strategy, you know, does have stops and target ticks that you can select. But if we want to see the positions run, if we want to see you know, where the trades are plotting without being concerned about where the stops and the targets are, we can just increase those targets and those stops to out of range, which is basically 999 ticks. So yeah, this is just a great little strategy to load up on your chart. Like I said, it's just the beta version. It doesn't have any of the start and the pause buttons and everything that the analytical does have. But it's just really going to give you some confidence when you're trading manually. So once you've optimized the settings for the bar chart or bar size that you are using, you've put in your slippage, you're seeing what the last position is that the strategy entered, and then you're looking for the ideal time to jump in. So these bands do move, you know, after a signal, so they're not going to, this isn't exactly where they were at the time that the price was there. So these are repainting bands. That's why they look so perfect, you know, at these points. These were, you know, the bands might not have been in that exact position when the strategy, well, when the bar was there. It does, however, keep the last bar. So at the very last bar, where the bar reversed, that's where the band was. So it's going to carry the price up until the actual reversal, and that will give you opportunity to enter and exit. So, you know, it doesn't help looking historically at price or at the bands, because that's not gonna you know, that's not gonna dictate to you the perfect entries, because these bands would have moved on. As you can see, the bands move on every tick. So it's basically monitoring the price on every tick, and it's going to adjust accordingly. But when we do have price touching a band, so the bands would have been on price at this stage. So when you've got the price touching the bands like this, you know, great opportunity to look for the reversal, which is the green bars, to enter a long. The same with the price going up. This price would have been in the bands the whole way up, and we're just basically waiting for the sellers to take control of the price, which was briefly over there, but it bounced off the band, and we still had divergences telling us there's a very, very strong likelihood that price is going to change, or that direction is going to change. And these divergences do not repaint at all. So what you see there is what happened in real time. They definitely do not repaint, and neither do these bars. So if there's a gold bar, at the time that bar closed, it'll stay a gold bar. It's not going to repaint at all. So all these bars that you're seeing are basically what happened in real time. And I think we watched this one happen, if I wasn't mistaken. And you're going to notice that the coloring of these bars are going to change when this indicator goes to below zero. These bars are going to go gold. So we know that at this stage, we in seller's territory. It starts painting these little dots when the price gets to the plus, gets to the plus 6, 7, 8. So at that stage, they're going to start plotting, and that's just going to show you that this price is going to be reversing at some stage soon. And then those dots also stay in place. So that one there, you see it stayed in place. It didn't repaint. So it's going to plot those dots, and it's going to keep them there, the same as with the divergences. So you'll notice, even going back on the chart, you're going to see these dots. You'll see they don't repaint, they stay there. So even if we're in a situation of the price running down, we're getting our divergences over here, telling us the price is very likely to reverse, and it's still just going down. So the buyers briefly had control of price over there, but then the price bounced back down again. We kept on having these divergences until eventually the buyers really took over price. So when you start seeing a whole lot of the green bars, that means the buyers are in control. When you only see a few and the price bouncing off a band, you know that the sellers are probably going to come back, and that's what they do. And then you're going to have a hint of the buyers coming in there, sellers just coming down again, and then back up. So the coloring of these bars are really helpful, and the coloring of those bars are from that indicator, which is the shadow trading divergence. So it's an extremely powerful indicator, and you can go and change the coloring of the bars too, based on the different levels that it has, and you can even change those levels. So you can make that a smaller or larger levels of where those coloring of those bars change. You've also got the divergences, the colorings of that, so you can definitely go in and modify those settings just to tailor it to your look and feel basically. But at this stage, we're still in the seller's territory, so we're going to just wait until these bars start painting gold before entering a short position. What I would do is I would wait until the strategy actually enters a short position, and then wait for those gold bars to form, and then perhaps trade that down with our custom ATM that we selected on our other chart. So that'll be on this chart over here. So you could go and enter a sell over here, but I mean it's a bit risky because the strategy is still in a buy position. But if you did go and enter a sell over here with your custom ATM, you've got your target. You can put just above the bands like that. Although I wouldn't recommend doing this because we haven't had a sell signal from the strategy. So it's good to watch the chart where the strategy is active on. So we've got the beta strategy running with 241. We're basically waiting for the strategy itself to enter a sell position, before we jump in. So the good thing about running manual trading with your custom ATM is you can go and move your stops and your targets. So it just gives you more flexibility of your position. So with the strategy running, you can't go and move your stops and targets. Even the built-in stops and targets of the strategy, they cannot actually be moved because they're controlled by the strategy. So this analytical strategy, this version will eventually have the ATM built in, like the current analytical. But at this stage, we're just going to be testing this specific version out before I go and add in all those buttons and features. Great, so hopefully that was beneficial. This can just be a way to just scalp the market basically, and move your stops and targets. Great, so thank you for your time, and I hope that this helps. Definitely use this combination of the ultimate bands with the shadow trading divergence. Extremely powerful indicators. There are a few other indicators that you can go and add on if you would like, but try keep it as clean and simple as possible. Last thing you want to do is go and complicate things. We do have a host of indicators that can be used on different charts too. We've even got our trade support indicator, which is just another little filter that can be used for the overall trend of the market. So if I'll just pop that one on, just in this example, and just see what that looks like. So the same with this indicator too. It's not going to be repainting. Where the dots are when this indicator loads is where they stay, and when price breaks through them, the dots just change to the other side of the chart, which we'll see in a moment. Okay. And there they're painted. Okay, so that's also going to give you an indication of when price is going down and then reversing up. So these the sensitivity can also be changed on these a bit. So you can go into the settings and modify the settings. So there we go. The strategy just entered a sell position. How's that? Basically similar to where I entered my position. So that's where the strategy just entered a position, telling us the strategy that there's a good chance that the price is going to reverse based on what the strategy is doing. Now, if you were going to be manually trading this position, so the strategy just entered a position, you might want to wait for the bars to turn gold before you actually enter your manual position. So let's just say we activated our strategy exactly where the strategy itself entered. So that was in real time. The strategy just entered, which is very similar to where we entered our position. We've got our stop in place, and we've got our movable target in place. We've got our optimization, which we can run. There's no limit to the amount of times you can run your optimization. So you could just continually do that. It only takes a minute anyway. And what that'll do is it's actually going to show you that the strategy took that position. So the optimization is going to run, and it's going to actually show you that specific position that was entered. So we were on the I optimized the 424 by mistake. Okay, so let me just optimize the 44. So the great thing about this is it takes a lot quicker to run than the existing analytical strategy. So that's what I really like about this. Okay, alright, so we are running the 241, which is that one over there, and there it plotted the exact trade that it just took. So if you look at the plot of it, it's the same positioning as that. So that's the benefit of running your optimization regularly, is you can actually see the optimization up until current price. So that is if you go and select your end date as just a future date. So because we're on the 17th now, you can just select the 20th and you can run this all week basically while you are trading, and it's actually going to give you the plotted positions that the strategy took. And then, you know, the great thing is if better settings come up, so you see how this increased from 2.5 to 2.7, so it basically made $250 odd in the last trade, which was that one over there. So that'll increase. So as you run these optimizations, it's going to spit out the best numbers, and if you find a better number coming up, then you can just go ahead onto your strategy, onto your chart, and go and disable the strategy and then change those settings to match what the optimizer gave you. Great, so I'm glad we were able to just take that one position, even though it was a bit premature. I took it before the signal actually generated, but that just gives you a very good idea of, you know, how the strategy enters positions and then how you can manually trade it. Again, I would if I was manually trading this and we had a sell signal like we had over there, we had the strategy entering a sell signal, it's a good idea to wait until we at least have some gold bars to confirm that the sellers have definitely taken control of price, because we might have a possibility here that the price may still rise, although we also have these divergences now. So if you look closely at the chart, you've got these divergences. So we've had two dots over there that painted in real time with the connected dotted lines, which is basically the divergence lines, and that is just showing that there's a very, very high likelihood the price is bouncing off the bands. We've got our divergences, so there's a good chance the price is going to be reversing, which it is at the moment. There we go. So that's the cool thing. Run your two charts next to each other and then pick your manual entries, and I'm sure you guys are going to love this, because you're getting really good confirmation from the strategy itself as to what positions it is taking. And you know, historically the positions have been very good. So if I just look at this at the 241 for an example, you know, over the last, you know, between the 14th and today, it's entered 50 positions, 56% profitable, 28 and 22. It's had you know, a really good, it had a bit of a flat 15th, which was the Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday we just basically started. So there we go. That'll definitely give you, and then you can even go and analyze it further by looking at half hour of the day. So you've got your hours of the day. So when you do your optimization and you notice that there are certain hours of the day that are really brilliant, you can decide to only start trading from, you know, 9:30, from 10 o'clock, and then catch those specific signals. So we want to look at the entry time actually. There we go. So you know, from 10 o'clock, what's this, 9:30, so from 10 o'clock up until basically 12:30. So those were the most the most productive, or you know, the best times, that the best positions that the strategy actually entered. Great, okay, thank you so much, and I hope this video wasn't too long, but I really hope it helps you just get a better understanding for, you know, how the strategy works, how to take positions, and I'd love to hear your feedback on that, especially in our group. Thank you. Cheers. And this is just a few minutes later, so based on what I was saying earlier, by waiting for the bar coloring to change after a signal is given, you know, so in this example, you know, the bar changed to gold. So, you know, if you were waiting for that specific instance to happen, you were waiting for the first gold bar to form, which would have been immediately when this bar started. So as soon as the price goes below the zero, it starts painting a gold bar. So had you waited to take this position, you know, on the first gold bar, then you would have entered basically over there, and then traded the price to the lower band. Even if it was just over there, that would have been good. So that will be a beautiful little scalping position and would have generated 12 ticks. So these are the little trades that you can take using this strategy. So if you just want to wait for the confirmation of the price actually reversing, then enter at a slightly later stage than what we originally did over there. Great, thank you.